The Nutcracker, The Untold Story, is a pretty good film. I will say, though, I'm not a huge fan of The Nutcracker as a story, so I didn't have any specific expectations or things that I was looking for. I was just looking for a good story, and it wasn't too bad. For me, the story was okay, but it was the visuals that were just so stunning, and I'll talk more about those in a moment. This was released in 2010. It's directed by Andrei Konchalovsky, and it's written by Konchalovsky and Chris Solimene, and I apologise if I've mispronounced any of those. And it stars Elle Fanning as our protagonist, Mary. And Mary, of course, receives the Nutcracker doll, and it's all about the magical adventure that unfolds. And we have characters like the Rat King and some really fascinating characters, actually. As I said, I'm not a huge fan of the story of the Nutcracker, so I can't really comment on exactly how many recognizable elements are there compared to, say, the traditional story, but it definitely seems very recognizable. And if anybody has any thoughts on that, please feel free to share. I also don't know how realistic it is in terms of the setting and the time period. It's set in 1920s Vienna. It looks great, it feels atmospheric, but again, if anybody has any thoughts on that, please feel free to let me know. And it's all about Mary's adventure with this Nutcracker and the various characters that they meet. And visually, it is absolutely stunning, and that's what worked for me the most. It is absolutely gorgeous to look at. The characters are great, the costumes are brilliant, the lighting and special effects all look amazing. It was an absolute joy to watch. With regards to the story, it is a good tale. I think the pacing was really good, the development of the narrative was good. It's quite a long film. It is just under 2 hours, and I don't think it needed to be that long. I think we could have easily lost half an hour, maybe 20 minutes, just to tighten up the story a little bit. But there was no point when I felt like it was dragging too much, just certainly as room for improvement. The pacing could have been a little bit better, certainly towards the second half. I feel like some scenes were going on for longer than they necessarily needed to, but nevertheless, I still liked it. It was a good story. Elle Fanning was brilliant as Mary. Everybody did a really great performance, and visually it is an absolute joy. So I really liked it. I'm quite happy with it. If it sounds like something that might appeal to you, if you're a fan of the Nutcracker in general, it might be worth checking out. That being said, maybe not, because as I said, I had no specific expectations. If I loved the Nutcracker in general, maybe it would have been a different experience. But that being said, I did like it. I wouldn't watch it again, but I thought this was a fun story, definitely well written for the most part, a little slow in the second half, but a lot going on, a lot of action, visually absolutely stunning, really great performances. Alongside Elle Fanning, we also have a really great cast. We have Richard E. Grant, and Shirley Henderson is the voice of the Nutcracker, which I really liked. We have Nathan Lane, John Turturro. Great cast, well-written characters, visually stunning, a decent story. Mostly the pacing is okay, and I'm pretty happy. If it sounds like it would appeal to you, then I'd say The Nutcracker, The Untold Story, is definitely worth watching. I'd love to know what you think of it. Personally, I enjoyed it. It doesn't make me want to go and watch other versions of The Nutcracker, but I was happy enough, and I'm happy to recommend it as well.